we have a solution for that. But in the meantime, I'm going to put a little bit of parchment paper on the bottom of this, and there's a little trick to getting the parchment paper out. This is pretty silly. Something that I learned just recently, because I had been fighting with the parchment paper bag, or the parchment paper canister here, box, for a really, really long time. I think we've all been in that situation where we're grabbing the parchment paper out and we're smashing the whole thing. But if you flip this around, so it goes this way, like that, tuck this little lip behind it, and look, just perfect and super easy. Mind blown. Mind blown. I had no idea. I don't know how many of those things I have ruined over the years, just fighting with the stupid parchment paper box unnecessarily. So folding it thusly, and scissors. All I'm going to do is put the point in the middle like that. And I'm going to eyeball it around the edge. I was actually texting with someone just recently who was saying that this is such a pain in the butt. This is how you do it without it being a pain in the butt. There you go. And now we've got a circle. And if it wants to curl up on you, you can just crumple it like so, and then mash it flat. And look, get those little edges off, make it nice and clean. There we go. And it'll lay flat in the bottom that way. Simple, simple, simple. Okay, we have our crust. It's coming together. Again, a wet sand consistency. And lots of folks mash this down with something flat like the bottom of a cup, measuring cup, or the bottom of a coffee cup or something like that. I'm going to be using a fork. And I have a theory here. I'm testing this theory, is that if you use the bottom of a fork, then you end up with a texture on the top, and it'll allow the batter to adhere to the bottom of the cheesecake so the two don't separate. At least that's the theory. So we're going to test that out at the end, because I have a cheesecake that I made earlier just to see if it works. My thinking is if you mash it down with the bottom of something like a coffee cup, then it gets too flat and too smooth, and then the two never really adhere to one another. So I'm just going to leave this sort of loose on purpose and allow the stuff to press through the tines of the fork. Might even use my knuckles a little bit and press it down like so. There we go. And we end up with something that has a bit more texture and a bit more life, and hopefully, like I said, they will glue together. There we go. And I'm going to tilt the camera down so you can see what I'm talking about. This, like that. See, just coming across, pressing into the corners, trying to mash it up into the corners best I can.